I'm Becky Creighton, President of Culinary Connectors.
And I'm Elizabeth Westner, the Underground Gourmet, and we are the Dishing Duo.
We are here today interviewing a very special guest, Ryan Hardy.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
In the middle of the Dishing Duo.
In the middle of the Dishing Duo.
Right?
We like it better.
Yeah, we're the ones who are excited. So today our segment is going to be about farm to table, and Ryan is certainly one of the chefs in Colorado that embraces that. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved with farm to table when you bought your farm?
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy story. I was just at the farm yesterday, and to see where we started and where we've come to is a great story, and it's been a lot of fun for us. We started with the farm idea. My wife and I moved here 10 years ago originally, and we were here for 4 or 5 years, and we loved this area of Colorado more than anywhere else we've lived. And we moved away. We took some job offers on the East Coast, and we came back because of the job offer here at the Little Nell, and we really wanted to find a place that we could put our roots down and really start to develop a food culture of our own. And it wasn't really, honestly, about a marketing thing. It wasn't really about what was hot or what wasn't hot or those kind of things. For us, it was about investing in the community and investing in the things that we loved. We were at the farmers market every weekend. We were talking with the farmers. We became best friends with a lot of these farmers, and we had a connection with that. The connection for us was the food and the land and the feeling of your hands in the dirt, and that's what I loved. I came from Kentucky originally, and I think that kind of got into my blood, the idea of gardening and those things. So we went out and looked at some places and looked at some farms that were for sale, and then we found some people that were interested in it, and we joined up as partners. And so my wife and I and Mike and Addie Waters are partners in a farm, and we were able to originally buy one plot of land and then buy the place next door and expand it, and it's just become a real labor of love. And then unbeknownst to us, it became all the fad, which was even great.
It has become a huge trend, and even you're fortunate, as is Alex Seidel, to actually be able to own your own place. But we were talking to Frank yesterday, and he has bought land and partnered with somebody else to actually do the farming for him. But why do you think chefs are just going in this direction?
Well, I think there's a tremendous honor that's built in it. I think when you can see the vegetables through from start to finish, when we sit down in November and December and we look at all the varieties of things that we want to grow, and we can say exactly how many of those varieties we want, when we want them, etc., you have an ultimate control over what it is that you can serve your client. A friend of mine kind of coined this term, not a term, but a saying, and he said, I'm really tired of restaurants where there's one truck that drives around town and makes the same stop, and they drop off the same box of ducks and the same box of chicken at every single restaurant, and then it's up to whoever's in that restaurant to make it taste good or not taste good. And that to me is important. If you're really going to offer great wholesome food, if we're really going to get into the European way of living, which is what Americans are kind of headed towards in terms of food culture and wine culture and these things, then it's important for us to really recognize that what grows together goes together, and you have to understand that there's seasonality involved in things like cheese or wine or those kind of things. And it's amazing to me, we used to make a lot of cheese, now we make a little bit for ourselves. And it's amazing when we used to ship it all around the country. And, we were fortunate to do that, and we were having fun doing it, and it didn't make a lot of sense because, we were like FedEx and these things all around. But these people would call me back and they'd say, the cheese, I liked it better in May. And I'd say, well, yeah, that's, it's different cheese in May than it is in June, July, and August. And it was a shock to them that the cheese wasn't the same every single time. And I think that's the important thing, and that's why you really want to own a farm, is that you love the seasonality of things. You embrace the fact that the beets are going to taste sweeter in September than they are in May, or the carrots are going to take time to mature and really develop into what they become. And when you have a farm, you can go out there and pull one carrot out, taste it, and go, nope, don't pull those yet. I want to let those sit for another 2 weeks.
Right.
And some people that are really extremists actually take brick meters out there and are taking sugar samples of these vegetables and really kind of sampling them out as to when they're ready for them to be pulled off the tree or pulled out of the ground. That's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah. What are some of the challenges that you see having a farm and a restaurant, and how does it dictate the menus that you're putting out? Obviously, it's seasonality, but with the different recipes that you're putting out.
It's taken us a couple of years to get it down to a point where we can really have the sous chefs respond. They used to freak out a little bit when I first had it, because
you want me to make what?
and suddenly the challenge of a farm is spacing things out. So when the zucchini start getting ripe, well, if you have a lot of zucchini plants, you have 200, 300 pounds of zucchini coming every single week. So the first week, the sous chefs are really excited to see it. And it's in the back of the kitchen. We'll do this and this and this. And then we start to plan out some new menu items. And then the next week, they're like, geez, what is zucchini? And then the next week, like, okay, boss, it's 1,000 pounds of zucchini. And that's a lot. We're really fortunate to be in this little hotel, but we have a lot of outlets. We have 2 restaurants here. We have a sister restaurant at the top of the mountain. We do a lot of event and catering. So we're able to really move things around and keep things distributed really well. And that's one of the biggest challenges, is dealing with volume. If you're really going to have a farm that can sustain itself, financially, which we haven't quite gotten to that point yet, but can sustain itself, then you have to be able to produce in volume. And you either have to search outside and look at all kinds of different accounts, or you have to really look at volume in terms of, if we're going to grow potatoes, we're going to grow 5,000 pounds of potatoes. Can we use 5,000 pounds of potatoes? Well, we can, because we have a shelter to put them into and a place to store them, and these kind of things. And that is one of the challenges, is how do you deal with the volume of product as it comes into season.